Hello and welcome to today's video. Today we are looking at Cupcake Polish's Enchanted Moss. This is a dusty teal base with a blue to green to pink shimmer. The base has just a little bit of gray in it, and it is a teal with a bit more of a green lean than the blue. This was part of my order that included Magic Mushroom, that very bright pinkish red polish. What might not be obvious to you guys, because it was so long ago, is that this might be a dupe for another polish I have. I knew it was going to be very similar in color to Never Trust the Living by Lumen. The bases are quite a similar color. The blue aspect of the shimmer in both is pretty similar. However, I did end up purchasing this one because I think they look different enough. The Lumen is very sheer. In the first coat, I did not get this even. Now, in fairness, I probably will never want to wear this in one coat, so it's not a problem. I don't really feel like I'm getting enough base color for the look that I wanted on the nail in one coat. I feel like this is a polish meant to be worn with more coverage. I also don't do the best job of staying in the lines. Like Magic Mushroom, this was the humid day that I didn't turn on the AC, so I did get a couple of bubbles in this particular polish as well. I will repeat here that any polish exposed to this much humidity will bubble. And I think in that first coat you can see that the color of the base is more green than blue, and it is just a tiny bit murky. It's the shimmer that pulls it to look slightly more bright. And you can also tell how much shimmer is in this. This is a pretty shimmer-heavy polish. Unfortunately, the only shifts we're going to see during application are the green and the blue. The pink is just not present here. In the second coat, I got my manicure even, and I liked the saturation and the coverage, so I stopped at the second coat. You certainly could go on to a third for absolutely certain full coverage, but I didn't think the color would deepen, and I honestly don't think you would notice the difference in the shimmer, at least on me. Each coat was pretty packed with shimmer, so it does make up what I think of as the majority of the opacity. You will see when we get into the sun that you just cannot see my nail, or at least I couldn't find my nail. I will repeat though, I think I say this every video, but if you do have clear extensions or extremely long nails, yeah, you're probably going to need a third, but you're probably also extremely accustomed to that. But I don't think moderately long or short nails would require it. And just like Magic Mushroom, I did also thin this polish after I used it. You are seeing it in its natural state. It's not that it looks thick, as you can tell, it's just that I wanted it a tiny bit thinner. The shimmer in this one is fairly large, and you can distinctly see the individual specks. That does mean that this has a slightly less metallic look than Magic Mushroom did, which had a very finely milled shimmer. Out in the sun, I will definitely invite you to try to find my free edge. I could not find it. You can see how that murky base affects the color when my fingers are pointed downward, but when I raise them, the color is very bright and almost foil-like. I don't think it quite raises to the shininess of a foil, but it is sort of headed in that direction. It gives a semi-metallic look. The green shift of the shimmer is harder to distinguish because it more closely resembles the base, but I think you can see it best at the ends of my nails when my fingers are pointed down. The blue in the shimmer changes from a lighter aqua color when seen head-on, but more of a medium blue when seen from an angle. Should I have purchased this? Arguably no. Where this one is much more opaque, the particle size is much larger, it has shifts to the shimmer, and I feel like on the nail they look different enough. Now in the shade, you can see how metallic this looks. Please ignore any chartreuse that you see. That is my trees reflected on my nails. That is not the nail polish. The medium green that you do see is in the shimmer, and it is part of the polish. There are just hints of the pink available here. I see it very briefly as I'm raising my fingers. Honestly, we'll see it slightly better when we get inside. However, the pink is never a large part of the look. It has a very peekaboo relationship with the eye. The blue and the green are by far the two dominant colors. I will say that this polish definitely gives an impression of its name. I can definitely see and feel the mossiness of this one. Funny enough, where I'm recording in the shade, there's moss under my feet. It's just that in the summer it often dries out quite a bit and goes dormant, so it doesn't quite look like this right now, but it will probably in the fall. Inside, you can see some of that pink shift as my fingers are lowered. I find it looks very stippled because of the very large particle size of the shimmer. It is making the polish look a bit purple overall in those areas, but I do think even here where it shows best, it's still kind of subtle. I think the blue is the most obvious shift, but the green shows up at the tips of my nails. I think the shimmer looks mostly a medium blue here, and the green more of a medium forest green tone. As I move over to the left and the artificial light, the shimmer gets a bit lighter, more of a sky blue. And now the pink is just a few rare speckles throughout. And the green looks so much like the base here that I think it just helps to deepen that already murky greenish teal to a darker color. And that is all for today. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe so that I can train my moss to grow all over decorative rocks so that I can have a tiny mossy mountainous terrain for the chipmunks. Please enjoy a clip of my female cardinal enjoying some seeds. Oh, that's not a sentence. I did not write a sentence here, and now I'm trying to say not a sentence and it confused me.